Muslim တွေကတကယ်တမ်းကျတော့အာဖရိကငခုတွေလိုပဲပေါ့နော်သူကကြီးထွားနှုန်းလည်းမြန်တယ်
because I have seen many of the human rights defenders supporting the killing of the Rohingya people.
The military is accused of killing thousands of Rohingya, committing widespread rape and burning down entire villages.
I have never seen a population so discriminated in the world.
Unfortunately, there seems to be little sympathy, let alone empathy, for the Rohingya people in Myanmar.
An exodus saw boatloads of Rohingya stranded at sea in Southeast Asia.
Muslim တွေပေါ်မှာမူတည်တယ်သူတို့တွေကငါလူမျိုးဝါမျိုးတာမျိုးဗုဒ္ဓဘာသာဗုဒ္ဓသာသနာကိုဖျက်ဆီးတာမျိုးနိုင်ငံကိုမွတ်စလင်နိုင်ငံထူထောင်ခြင်းလို့အတင်းအဓမ္မလှုပ်ရှားနေတာမျိုးပေါ့နော်အတင်းအဓမ္မအကောင်အထည်ပေါ်နေတာမျိုးတွေပေါ့ဒါတွေမလုပ်ဘူးဆိုရင်တော့ညှချ
beran majera zurur barbad berian sodon nida military kadidi sorot uru goro utar afra dia rakki namada le jaira goro utar lungori gori bari mari muntu dura zara dia ar muntu dura zara dia bade bugum majera goro mada ondora dia
Don't think there's ethnic cleansing going on. It's a matter of people on different sides of a divide.
Never accept a Rohingya in Myanmar. Why? အရင်ကမရှိခဲ့ဘူးအခုလည်းရှိမှာမဟုတ်နောင်လည်းရှိမှာမဟုတ်ဘာလို့လဲဆိုတော့ဒါကမြန်မာနိုင်ငံမြန်မာပြည်ကိုလာပြီးအဲ့လိုကျူးကျော်ပြီးတော့တစ်ခုလာပြီးတော့ဆော်ကားတဲ့ပုံစံမျိုး
And these hate basically became the basis and the foundation of all kinds of violent crimes and mass atrocity against us.
I started my trip on 26 October on the boat, and there are 240 people with me in the boat. I can save my life, but there are so many babies and so many children in the boat. Please protect them.
They had to cross this river, but there were too many persons in one boat, so thereby capsizing of the boat. We have to recover lots of dead bodies.
Sar hodo jai mara jeto mara godwar phalai agara gusti phalai ma bap phalai ra gi gara.
One case that really hit the heart was when a Rohingya boat arrived in Indonesia and an anti-Rohingya group pushed the boat away. And a young mum that was on this boat, super young, early 20s, with 2 children, managed to come back, and one of her child died from starvation. And you know how she buried her child? She had to throw her child in the ocean.
At one point during the time that there was a campaign to push Rohingya back, and this was right after the attempted coup And there was a poster made by the Malaysian Navy, if I'm not mistaken, and it was about moving Rohingya back.
They've been doing a lot of nonsense things like demanding better food and shelter. They shouldn't have done that. They weren't invited here anyway.
What we are seeing is that so many of these different hate campaigns in the region will eventually result into less trust and less social cohesion overall. Because if Rohingya were all destroyed, there's no guarantee who next.
It's one boat after another. How many boats have come here already? We are poor people. Why don't you use the money to help us? Why are they giving them?
The Aceh government's been trying to provide temporary shelter, but in many places that were thinking of putting them, the local people rejected them, so were asking for them to be taken out of Aceh.
Footage showed the students, who were calling for the refugees to be deported, running into the building's basement. The Muslim minority group has faced decades of persecution and abuse in Buddhist-majority Myanmar, prompting many to flee in boats.
Deportasi di luar Aceh, maka kami pastikan dan saya yakinkan mahasiswa akan hadir berlipat ganda dalam melawan kebijakan pemerintah.
The UNHCR said it was deeply disturbed to see a mob attack on a site sheltering vulnerable refugee families and called for better protection.
Indonesia have been known as a country with biggest Muslim society, and Rohingya is also our brothers and sisters, but the fact that we treated them that way, it's very disappointing.
And we could see that the poster, the campaigns, the Acehese people actually told me that these are not written by the Acehese. So there must be something, right?
Who benefits from the hate speech? Clearly, the junta and its allies, and politicians in Indonesia, Malaysia, and India and neighboring countries. Media have already observed that the hate speech against Rohingya in Indonesia and Malaysia had very strong political motivations.
I'm noticing that as I'm starting to, come back to Southeast Asia, it's not personal attacks, but they would be just general things that people have said, about Rohingya themselves, and even online, especially on our social media. Whenever we post pictures, they would make very silly, derogatory comments about women and Rohingya women.
One that was extremely viral and shocking was when UNHCR posted a video of me, and I explained to the audience that Rohingya want to go back home, we want to see our ancestral homeland, and that we want a safe repatriation back to Burma, Myanmar. And when I clicked on the video and I opened the comments section, there were about 5,500 comments in a Instagram post, UNHCR Asia. And the comments were hate speech. The majority of it was hate speech, saying all sorts of different things, saying Rohingya should go back home, Rohingya should not be in Malaysia, Rohingya should not be in Indonesia. And some were in English, some were in Indonesian and Bahasa Melayu.
It's just absurd, the level of hate, the negativity that surrounds anything. But again, these are the dangers of social media, because there's censorship that doesn't really exist, and individuals are free to write and read and think however they want.
I asked some Buddhist friends, why are you hate Muslim? They think intolerance means that no reason they hate Muslim or Rohingya, no reason. Means that they manipulate and propaganda is for a long time.
I would say it's a politically motivated move, and even the claim was also backed by different public officials when they said that the Rohingya came to Aceh were not refugee, but there's like third or second degree of refugee because they came from Cox's Bazar, or there was a seemingly indications of their victim of public trafficking, and they just based on biased and I would say xenophobic comments that they made.
The sad thing is that ultra-nationalist politicians have actually fanned the hate speech campaign to fan and intensify hate and fear amongst the population in order to get votes. But after the election, the hate still lives on and justifies more hate speech, more discrimination, more persecution.
I think the simplest answer is that the perpetrators, whether it be the junta or the enabling governments in the Asia-Pacific region, especially Southeast Asia, all of them just want to get rid of the Rohingya in different ways. For the junta, it's probably destruction of the entire community so that no one can come back to claim the land, the culture, or reclaim our identity back where we belong in Burma, Myanmar.
So what we are seeing that's happening in the region, including in Malaysia and Indonesia, is Indonesian and Malaysian people prolonging the genocide, intensifying the impact of the genocide on the Rohingya.
Assalamualaikum. Ara Rohingya Zati. Ara Hokkan. Ara Dunyatun Sai.
200 টাকা বা 250 টাকা তখন আমার কাজ করার ইয়ে হচ্ছে যে 500 টাকা কিন্তু আমি কাজ করার মতো শ্রমজীবী কোনো কাজে আমি পাচ্ছি না
তাদের খরচ নাই তারা যদি 100 টাকা পায় তাও তারা তাদের সাফিসিয়েন্ট রোহিঙ্গাদেরকে তো অবশ্যই ফেরত দিতে হবে
মানে আমাদের নৈতিক প্রয়োজনীয় দাম দ্বিগুণ হারে মানে কি চুরি ডাকাতি রাহাজানি বেড়ে যাচ্ছে যার ফলে মানে
We reject the Rohingyas. We want them to be moved as soon as possible. We don't want to catch the diseases they carry.
I would be treated differently based on my color. And I remember I was told to go back to my home country, wherever I came from. But then I realized I was born here. It's like, where do I go back?
When I was on a taxi going to and from somewhere in Penang, where I got onto a taxi and the taxi driver obviously started to speak to me in Malay, and I said, I'm sorry, I don't speak Malay. And he's like, well, where are you from? And I started to speak English, and of course we had some exchange. And I said, oh, I'm actually a Rohingya, but I am based in Vancouver, I'm in Canada. And he was like, what? Rohingya? But you're light skin. And some other times he was like, but you're pretty, like why are you Rohingya?
This hate speech is copied from Burma, Myanmar, calling us too black, describing us as animals, as thorns, describing us as dehumanizing us in whatever possible way as possible. We've seen this hate speech spiralize in Malaysia, in Indonesia specifically.
And this is what I call the lack of political will. So if there is a will, right, then there will be a way to address and to come up with a solution for and to counter each of the narrative. And again, it should not be rumor-based. It should be fact-based.
For example, in Malaysia, we rely a lot on foreign workers. So the question is, why do we bring in workers from outside while at the same time we are not providing the Rohingyan who are already in Malaysia the opportunity to work? We need to create awareness among Malaysians that this is something that is very serious. No, they are not going to take away our job, they are not going to take away our land or our territory. They are here as a temporary measure.
I think that one of the best ways to combat the hate speech against the Rohingya people is to show who Rohingya people truly are, especially who Rohingya women are, and show them that we are not who the media portrays us to be, and just share more of the Rohingya culture and traditions, especially our food, our dressing, and our just like traditional practices, and just show them that we have such a beautiful culture and we had a beautiful homeland that we were forced to leave. So, and we would like to go back to rebuild our community.
Have you ever heard about Rohingya refugees?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think about them?
I think they should not come to Malaysia.
Yeah, why?
Because we have our own people. So they should stay at their country. I don't think that they should at all come to Malaysia.
Since you talked about Rohingya, have you? What do you think about Rohingya? What do you think about Rohingya in general?
I feel sorry for them because there's not much country that accept them, so they had to find somewhere, and nothing Malaysia can,
Is there any other reason why? Have you ever come across a Rohingya before? Have you ever interacted with the Rohingya before?
Never, but I heard a lot of news about them. They do kind of not good things in Malaysia.
I personally feel quite sad with the state that they are refugees. Yeah. And I hope there is a solution for them, for them how to solve with the current ongoing issues in their country, because I know it must be hard for them. Okay.
You probably haven't met a Rohingya, but I think you're meeting one now.
Yeah.
I'm a Rohingya.
I see.
So have you ever met a Rohingya before? Never? Never. No. I'm a Rohingya. I was born in Arakan State. We left when I was 3 because our village were persecuted so badly.
Okay.
The villages were burnt down. My mom had to flee, taking me as a 3-year-old.
I see.
We fled to Thailand. I wasn't raised here, but she was raised here in Malaysia.
Building understanding with the society between Rohingya and Malaysian society, or Indonesia and Indonesia society, and also building social cohesion, which is really important for us to really stop this hate speech. It doesn't really start with us just going there and then asking for help. It's start with the person in the front too, who's willing to help, who's willing to make this a change. So we will continue to build understanding between the society, and so the hate speech can less and our people can live in peace.